Welcome back aboard Blurred Force One with your boy Mo, and this is the Supercast. The Supercast, where we talk about all things superhero in our pop culture media. That's movies, TV shows, video games. We talk about the news, do some speculation, all of that good nerdy stuff. And joining me, it feels like a regular guest spot, is our good friend Polly of Co-Mixed. So happy to see you here today. How you doing today?
Amazing. Everything is great. And I'm in a good mood.
You have Lockheed on your shoulders, so obviously things are going to go
Yes,
well.
yes.
So,
with me.
everybody, before we get into the podcast today, you know what to do. Get down there and hit like on this video. So, my God, we're in the most wonderful time of the year. Not Christmas, but superhero season, because Superman is like literally knocking on the door. Ironheart's coming out. It's not next. Is it next week or the week after? I think it's the week after. We're like 10 days out, I think, from Ironheart. Fantastic Four is about to come out in about 6 weeks, and we're so excited. And plus, they just want to let us know about all the good stuff that's going on behind the scenes with making various superhero things. And for some reason, all the video game companies are like, "Hey, y'all want some Marvel shit?" And then we're like, "Yeah, sure." We'll take it. Why the hell not? So, what a time to be a superhero fan. To make up for the fact that the rest of the world is burning. So let's play those violins and the cello while the Titanic is sinking. Shall we? Anyway,
that's very grim.
So, Polly, what you been up to nerdy this week?
Ooh, I've been reading Ultimate, Ultimates, because that's the continuation of
Mm-hmm.
The story of the Ultimate Reed Richards, also known as the Maker.
Right.
And I got to the Hickman stuff, and it all feels very familiar.
How many infographics did he put in?
So far, none.
What? Oh, surprising.
That's his early work. That's a long time ago. He didn't do them yet.
I did see that you posted a review of the review of Ultimate Fantastic Four. And I'm glad to see that whoever was whoever Mystique or whoever took you over has gone away, and that you're back, because you said something semi-positive about a Reed, and I was like, what's happening right now?
It was not positive about Reed. It was a statement that it's harder for me to hate Ultimate Reed, because his story, his arc comes to a conclusion that seems fitting to a Reed.
Right.
So he's not portrayed as a hero. He is shown as a villain, which is natural for him. So yeah, and I got another comment today on my Why I Hate Reed Richards post from someone who is obviously a fan of Reed Richards, which is alarming. Again, whining about how somebody can hate Reed Richards. I don't know. What's wrong with these people?
Reed Richards stands is a phrase I never thought I'd hear in the real world.
Yeah, there's like 3 of them, and boy, they're
one of them is the multiversal variant of Reed Richards.
Probably the other 2 are other 2 Reeds. We'll probably have a Reed in our universe, and he's doing that. He's just not smart enough.
No, he's just like he's just like Star-Lord. He works at like Burger Mart or something. I don't know. He's definitely he's definitely a alt-right incel. So
yeah.
Well, that's cool that you got caught up on that. I wish I had read
I
some
also
comics.
played Marvel Rivals.
I saw that.
Played Dustborn, which is a great game from Red Thread Games.
Yeah.
And watched a lot of old Batman movies.
Nice.
Like the two Tim Burton movies and the 2, well,
You
Yeah.
know what? The Burton ones hold up, I think.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
accept there's certain aspects of it you're like, this is a bit weird. If you accept that it's all on a set and that this is a heightened reality sort of situation, they hold up
yeah.
remarkably well. I think they're really good movies.
Yeah, they visually, they set an interesting feel
Mm,
to them. And I think that Tim Burton's visuals actually do work in favor of Batman
hmm
stories because
I
it's
agree.
kind of grim, gothic, kind of dark, but at the same time a little bit fairy tale-ish. And this
hmm
style does work well with Batman as a character and the comics as we know them. The other two movies, well, they exist.
I got to get back to I got to get back and watch those again.
Don't,
I haven't seen them in a long time.
don't, not the other two.
That but those are good. Those are good good ones, I think. Um, well, let me tell you, I've had an interesting nerdy week. I finished watching Mashal, whatever the anime I was telling you about. It's really fun. It's a fun. I can't wait to watch season 2. That was good. I what? I didn't play anything this week. I did go do some nerding on a budget though. Oh, and I did. I watched How to Train Your Dragon last night. I think I might want to review that for the channel,
Mm.
so I won't get. It was good.
The movie?
Yeah, the live action. I did watch that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I don't think it's as good as the original, the animated, but there are reasons for it. I think that it's a result of the fact that first of all, How to Train Your Dragon is a bit more of a kid focused movie, even though it's excellent. The first one, the trilogy is excellent, but it's a little bit more kid focused, and then there are some aspects of kid focused animated things that are a little more Looney Tunes and less realistic. And I don't think that translates well into live action. Trying to do the kind of more slapstick Looney Tune aspect of it doesn't work as well. I think like the movie The Mask is one of the few movies that does a live action slapstick that works. Not even slapstick, but like kind of the affectations of animation, and that are focused on getting the attention of children don't quite translate well into live action. But I did enjoy it, and it has the heart and soul of the original, and I think it gets the emotional aspects of it very right. And there are some very thrilling, like visuals as far as the dragon riding and everything. I actually think, and the final sequence, like from the movie, and is on par, maybe even a little bit better than the one from the original movie. So I think it's worth going to see. If you haven't seen it, though, any of the stuff at all, go see the live action, then go watch the trilogy. It's worth it. It's a good show or a good movie. Um, Also did some nerding on a budget. I'm gonna try to get through this real fast. Got about a bunch of stuff. Amazon had some pretty good deals. Yes, I know it's the evil empire, but I mean, cheap Funko Pops. I mean, what do you want me to do with the tariffs going on? I gotta get the cheap stuff where I can. So I got a couple of Funkos.
Can't blame you.
I know that you're going to like these. Hopefully, I don't get a huge glare on this. Look who it is. That is,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yes.
so cool.
By the way, Fern was my favorite character from was it not Bad Batch? What was it? Why can't I say the name of the
Skeleton Crew.
Crew? She was my favorite character from Skeleton Crew.
And by the way, the actress who plays her,
She's gonna be in
she's
Buffy.
Been.
Yeah, she's
Yes,
gonna be in
yes.
Buffy. I saw that. I was like, that's a great
Mm-hmm.
call. I think she was very talented in that show.
Yeah.
But also, yes, from why can't I say the name of it?
Acolyte.
Acolyte. From Acolyte. Yes, very cool. Also, I got a little another figure. Let me show. Get it real. I told you I got a lot of stuff. Everyone's favorite is Black Cat. I got this for $7 from Amazon. Now, this is the comics version, not the Dwayne the Rock Johnson version.
It kind of looks like Namor.
It's not I don't think that's an accident. But yes, that was $7. I've been wanting that. Now I need two more to kind of complete the little thing so I can get an extra figure out of it. Also, got some comics. these are $4 each. So I got New Mutants Dead Souls.
Oh.
That was $4. I know you like New Mutants, so
Yeah, I do. I think I either I don't have that book, but I have read it.
yeah, it was $4. So I keep going to the same thrift shop.
Fair enough.
They're basically holding those for me, I guess. And also I got this,
Oh,
which
I
is
remember that. Yeah.
it's very like I'm gonna eventually get into this Secret War thing, but I know I like Kitty Pryde. I like I like Peter Quill, and I think it'd be
I
useful.
did not like them together.
Yeah, I mean them being together might be weird, but I do like this whole Battle Worlds concept, so I want to check that out. Finally, well, I got one more thing. I got a movie. Look, I don't care what anybody says. Legally Blonde's one of the best damn movies that I've ever seen. It's great. I love it. My daughter loves it. We had a great time watching it earlier this year. So hey, I'm glad to have that. It's 1 and 2. And then finally, I had to get another one. Again, the thrift shop's holding them for me. Look at it. It's Norrin Rad, y'all. Come on. Y'all, come on. That is dope. You know, don't even pretend like that's not dope. I'm about to, you see back there? I'm gonna hang it. I don't think I'm gonna hang it up right there. There's a whole spot for it. There's like 5 more of those at the thrift shop, and if I told them if they're gonna hold on to them, I'll get them once. I get one once a week. So actually, I think it's like 4 more, but it's they get if they hold on to them, I'm gonna get them. So yeah, nerding on a budget was pretty cool this week. So I think that's pretty much all my nerdy stuff. So I guess we need to go ahead and dive into all of this, superhero related news that's going on this week. It's
the nerdy stuff that affects us all.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what we're here to do, is to talk about it, because we're excited for this superhero summer and the coming project. So this week we're going to talk about real quick that the comic book, The World to Come, and it's kind of set the internet on fire for a reason. We're going to talk about that. Eyes of Wakanda premiered its first episode. It's a little bit of synopsis what it's about, why we're excited about that. Also, the Eyes of Wakanda team talks about another Marvel character that's going to show up in the show. Who could it be? Mr. Miracle is confirmed for a new show on from DC Studios. Chris Evans talks about his involvement with Avengers Doomsday. We got superhero game trailers, a couple that came out this week. Very interested in those. We're going to talk about all of the popcorn buckets, or at least we're going to maybe geek out a little bit over them and talk about this trend of making the popcorn bucket a thing. Thanks a lot, Dune. We're looking at you. Entertainment Weekly had a whole article talking to the James Gunn and the cast of Superman. I thought it was really interesting. Some interesting tidbits came out about that. And then finally, we're going to have a bit of a nerd discussion coming out of that Entertainment Weekly article about whether it's possible to make a cinematic universe where you don't have to do your homework to watch the movies. We'll see. I feel like we've talked about this before, but I think it bears repeating. So, Polly, it's a lot of stuff. You ready to jump into all of this?
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's get into it. So, let's not bury the lead. There's a white Black Panther right now, y'all. At least in the near future of the Marvel universe. Joe Quesada teamed up with Christopher Priest to write a new Marvel Knights thing called The World to Come. It supposedly takes what I want to say it's a few decades, like 4 or 5 decades I think that's about right, 4 or 5 decades in the future of the Marvel universe. And the first issue ended with a white Black Panther. So all of those memes and all of those chuds that were talking about Ryan Gosling being Black Panther came true. Now, I ain't read this, so I'm not going to speak to what actually happened in the issue. I did not read this. I just want to talk about it from the perspective of how the fandom is reacting to this. And also, is this a troll? Is this feeding the trolls? What's happening here? What do you think, Polly?
I have no idea because I didn't read it either. But it's kind of weird, and I don't know. I felt like when I saw it initially, I thought that it was like taken out of context, and there's something going on that you really need to know the story for to even talk about it. So I didn't, and I might check it out later when it gets like to be unlimited or something. I might check it out. I might see what's up. But until I do that, I'll keep my thoughts to myself.
It feels like a troll. I'm not even gonna lie.
It does. It does. Yeah.
Especially with the way certain segments of the fandom are reacting. They're acting like, "Ha, how does it feel now? Now that one of your characters is getting replaced." And I'm like, most of us are just like, "All right, we're just gonna see where this is going."
Yeah.
Like,
But also, I don't know. It depends because a lot of times, Marvel is announcing something like that. In general, announcing something, and then they don't really go through with this
mhm.
announcement. So it's kind of like a bait and switch, and they do that a lot.
It's a definite bait and switch.
Yeah.
I know for sure, and I'm not the writer or anything, but this is definitely a direct response to all of the bullshit that people have been saying for years about race swapping characters. This Christopher Priest. Say what you will about him. If you've ever read any of his Black Panther, and I've only read about 12 issues of his Black Panther run, the motherfucker rubs your nose in the shit he's in, like the themes and shit he's saying. This is a direct, like all the chuds that are crowing about this. Trust me, he is rubbing your nose in your own shit. You just don't realize it yet. He's about to get you. So I remain open minded about this. Like, I'm more bothered by it, by the fact that it's throwing chum to the idiots, and they're gonna live on this
I
for
don't
a little
know.
while.
Kind of, yeah. It kind of feels like this part of the fandom is the part that you should rather ignore, and you shouldn't get into a conversation with them and through
Mm-hmm.
this means. But okay, like you do you. But whenever writers try to get into this, well, let's call it conversation with this particular fandom segment, it doesn't
Doesn't turn out.
necessarily turn out well. Yeah, narratively and creatively, it kind of loses its way and becomes just making fun of them, which is fun and all, but it's not good writing and
Yeah,
not what the story should be about.
yeah. Does it serve the character? I, like, again, don't know much. I'm gonna remain open
Yeah.
minded, and I'm just gonna keep an eye on this. So, well, you know what? We'll keep an eye on the way this proceeds over the next few months. Cause I think it's a limited series. We'll see how it turns out. And let you guys know how we feel then. Eyes of Wakanda, highly anticipated as far as I'm concerned. I know, Polly, you're extremely interested in it. Looks cool. It's only 4 episodes, but they did premiere the first episode at I forget the name of this festival, but it's France Annecy. I can't say it right. Annecy festival. I know
Some kind of.
it's an animation festival as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got a synopsis of the first episode, which is, and I'm gonna read it verbatim. It says, set in 1260 BC and follows a Wakandan secret agent, a disgraced former Dora Milaje named Noni, played by Winnie Harlow, as she pursues a man by the moniker of Lion, played by Cress Williams. Lion has defected from the Wakandan Guard in order to run a band of pirates and has stolen technology from Wakanda in order to found his own kingdom. Which I think makes that whole little boat thing that we've seen, from the images, makes it kind of make sense, right? Uh, but I have a feeling this feels like an anthology. That means that the fourth episode is probably characters from the other 3 episodes coming together, and that's why you see all of them on that boat. It's just the way it happens. Remember, every single
What
season
if?
of What If, the most like
I
Predator
mean, it
Badlands.
could be, but then again, it could be kind of a more wholesome story because it's smaller. The scale is smaller, and
Mhm,
they all set. It's all set in the same time. They're all
right,
in the same universe. They're all literally in the same. Uh, Come from the same place.
right,
So yeah, it would make sense for them to come together to do something.
right. It's interestingly it says 1260 BC, right? Which is like so. This isn't across time. Are all of these characters existing at the like all of the different Wakandan war dogs or Dora that are doing these basically secret agent shit, are they all coming together to deal with a particular problem? Uh, because I thought we might be
It could be
yeah.
different because was this a premise for one episode or for
Yeah,
the whole show?
I'm not sure. But it sounds cool. It
Because
sounds
if it's the premise for the whole show, then it could be easily like one episode about one character, the other about the other character, then sort
yeah.
of the last two like different points of view, and the last two episodes could uh,
Yeah, I sort of thought it would
deliver
be
the story or something.
I thought it'd be characters across
I
different
think
time
it's
periods.
more of a wholesome story. I
Yeah.
hope so.
So
We'll see.
so it sounds
Either
cool
way,
though.
we're excited.
Yeah, it sounds really
Hmm.
cool. Um
And
also,
it looks awesome.
yeah, well, just the little bit we've seen so far, definitely. There was also the Eyes of Wakanda team let let us know that there actually is another Marvel character coming into that's going to be in the show, and it is Iron Fist. But of course, not the Iron Fist we know. Danny Rand is one of a long, long line of Iron Fists stretching back generation upon generation. But it seems we're
But
going to
he
be
wasn't alive in 20 whatever
yeah.
BC.
Well, it seems we're going to be getting a much earlier Iron Fist, which I want to see. Let me say, let me.
Well, at least it's not that annoying Iron Fist from Marvel Rivals who keeps killing me with his punches. I hate that
uh,
guy.
I'm trying to think, cause like I've always really like we know that the Dora are among the best hand to hand or and even like martial artists
Mhm.
in the universe. Even though I think Shang Chi
But they're
clears.
also human.
Yeah, they're human, but they have Wakandan technology, which is always well ahead of everybody else. But
Yeah, but Iron Fist is pretty powerful too.
yeah, well, what I'm saying is Iron Fist clears them. Like anybody good enough to be Iron Fist is can clear. Like I wouldn't say T'Challa could beat Iron Fist. Like I on the real, even with the whole suit on, I wouldn't take that bet because as good as T'Challa is, like Iron Fist, not the one we saw in the MCU, like not the one I'm talking about the real Iron Fist. He and Shang Chi fight basically they're this close. Like if he and Shang Chi,
But then Iron Fist
yeah,
has the Iron Fist.
yeah, but canonically, whenever Shang Chi can beat him, but it's a close ass fight, and Shang Chi can beat anybody hand to hand. Don't matter. I don't care who you're talking to, who you talking about. There's not one person in Wakanda that can beat Shang Chi in a hand to hand fight.
Oh,
So
maybe two against, or
I
five against him.
like Shang Chi is legitimately could beat the shit out of T'Challa, and it's not. I'm like people don't understand that. So seeing that they're gonna go up against an Iron Fist, that's gonna be a fight. Even the best, even the best
Are
war
they gonna
dog.
go up against
It
an
has to
Iron Fist?
happen. We cannot have. It is impossible to have two superheroes meet without throwing hands a little bit. We just gotta throw little hands. The quick friendly fade, and then we on the same team now. That's just we chin checking. That's all that is. So I love this. Like please put some respect. First of all, put some respect on Iron Fist's name. Second of all, let's put some respect on the Dora because the Dora. What you saw how they handled John Walker, folded him up like a cheap suit. So and that and we saw you saw how in my opinion, probably the greatest Dora of all time. You know, Okoye put Proxima Midnight on her ass, so we know they got
Oh
skills. So
yeah.
it's gonna be it'll be a good, cool fight. That was interesting. I love to see that. Moving on to DC Studios, they are, man. Let me tell you, they are not letting the grass grow under their feet at all. They just announced a Mister Miracle adult animated series, which is, first of all, who saw that coming? Um, unless you actually,
I didn't even ever read any of Mr. Miracle comics, so
yeah, I'm not.
I didn't see that coming.
I will confess, I'm not very familiar. I know I'm aware of his
I have no idea
existence.
who he is.
I've never read any of his comics. Now he's one of the New Gods. Actually, he's part of the New Gods story because I guess he's I read up on this, an adopted son of Apocalypse. So he comes from yeah,
Oh, you said Apocalypse. My mind went to Apocalypse.
not Apocalypse,
Just another.
not
Yeah, yeah,
Apoc,
yeah, yeah.
not I'm sorry. He's a adopted son of Darkseid and lives on
Mm,
Apocalypse. There you go. I can't I get them
mm.
mixed up. He's an
Okay.
adopted son of Darkseid, but his wife is Big Barda, who is one of the New Gods. Uh, and people have been clamoring to see Big Barda, by the way, in live action and everything, because you know she's literally almost like a giant, not a giant, but you know she's like 7 or 8 feet tall. She's a big person. She's kicks ass. Um, so they're making this, and this apparently it's based on the Tom King version of Mr. Terrific that I keep hearing. I've heard for years people be like, that Mr. Terrific comic is amazing. You should read it. And
Mr. Miracle.
I'm sorry. Why am I getting them mixed up? Mr. Miracle, not Terrific.
Because there is a lot
There's
of
too many
misters,
misters.
and with DC, it's everyone is a mister, a boy or girl, or like a man, woman.
Yeah.
Those are all the names they have.
It's
Especially those from the future, the Justice
I'm
whatever.
waiting for them to
I
have
don't know.
a MX MX miracle. So you know, isn't that like the there's not a Mister, not a Miss. It's just a gender neutral. We have a gender neutral Terrific.
Yeah,
So either way,
just terrific.
but what I'm saying is, I should have seen this coming. We all should have seen this coming because it's Tom King and James Gunn. He hasn't said it so loudly. Loves Tom. You know how Feige loves Jonathan Hickman, and you know he loves Jonathan Hickman because they keep making Jonathan Hickman shit in the MCU. Tom King is a part of the brain trust at DC Studios right now. He is one of the name checked writers that is helping build out the DCU, and this is one of his babies. So we are definitely getting more of his stuff. I'm fine with this. This is actually just going to encourage me to go read it. I need to get the DC Infinite app, I think, and read this.
Yeah, it's not available here. I'm still mad about that. So
I mean,
I don't know.
VPN, but
well, if I'm paying for something, I want to be able to download it here legally.
I was gonna say,
if they don't want my money, okay, I won't give them my money.
Well, I mean, torrents exist. I'm not saying you gotta. I'm not saying you have to, but you know.
I'm not saying
I mean, in
not
Latveria,
buying a pirate hat. But,
actually, yeah.
You know.
Do y'all's public libraries have comics? I'm sure they do.
No.
They don't? My God, we have comic books. Our public libraries have all and we have digital access. You can actually.
I mean, don't forget that it's kind of like a part of a culture in America, so it makes sense that libraries have comics, and like there are a lot of comic book stores. We have maybe 5 comic book stores, like at best, in the whole country.
Well,
I don't know.
You could also try Amazon, I guess, if you want to download.
Well, yeah, it's just the delivery is.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about actually like reading the digital version.
Yeah, that could.
So it's.
I don't know how soon they appear after they release.
Oh, but Mr. Miracle is old. This has been out like years now, so you could probably just find it. But either way, I think this is cool. Well, you know what? We'll keep an eye on this. More animation. DC is they're not playing. They're digging into all aspects of media for them, and I love to see it because animation is doesn't get enough. I don't think it gets enough respect. We need to respect it a
I
lot
think
more.
at this point it does.
Well, I'm talking about from regular people. Like if this was a movie, they'd show up for it unless it was animated. So, one last quick thing, and that is Chris Evans says, "I am not in Avengers Doomsday." Stop fucking asking me about. That's not literally what he said, but I feel you, dude. I feel you. Yeah, you're like, I'm not in
That's what he
this.
thought.
Stop bothering me. He was like, hey, they're over there filming. He said it's sad not to be back with the band, but I'm sure they're doing something incredible, and I'm sure it's going to be that much harder when it comes out and you feel like you weren't invited to the party. Um, I look, it sounds like maybe he's salty. I don't believe it. I think because we're there, I feel like he's definitely coming back to the MCU, and Doomsday is not. I don't think that's the place for him. Honestly, I think Secret Wars is it. He didn't say he wasn't coming back in Secret Wars. He said Doomsday. So, I mean, yeah, Cap's not gonna be, or Captain America Steve Rogers is not gonna be in Doomsday. Okay, don't bother me. Does that bother you?
I mean, as much as I think that like a lot of people immediately thought, oh, that's right, he's lying. I don't think that he is, and like if he is, that's okay. I don't care either way.
Yeah.
If he's in it, fine. If he's not in it, fine. That's not the biggest thing about that movie, about Doomsday. And yeah, if he's coming back for what is it, Secret Wars, that's okay too. If he's not, perfectly fine.
Right.
There's like a lot of people in those movies already, and I don't know. We would need like 3 hours to get through all of them to actually make a story happen. I don't know. It's not a problem if he's not in it.
Yeah, this actually sort of speaks to something. Scarlett Johansson was interviewing. I think she and David Harbour were sort of doing a interviewing each other thing. And I didn't read all of it, but they were basically, she said about how these movies with like the big ensemble cast, she was basically saying she felt like less a character and more of a plot device to move the story along. You're sort of slotted in there, and I think that that's probably going to be true about Doomsday. It's a gigantic cast, and any one no one of all the actors that are going to be in it, most of them are going to be plot devices. Essentially, they don't have enough time to characterize these people. It's 30 odd people named characters in this. No one. The only people that are going to get shine are Doom and like maybe 3 or 4 other principal Avengers. That's it. Everybody else, you're there to be a body in the midst of some shit going on, and to remind everyone, yes, these guys exist.
It's fair too. It's not a surprise and not abnormal, because sometimes it happens. Sometimes they're not the main character, and that's fine.
Yeah, but I get it. Like if you're used to being like a principal character, and then you led a movie, or then suddenly there's 75 people on screen and you're just one of them. I can see how that's weird. So, but that's just fine. I
don't know if that's weird. Exactly, I've never actually experienced it, so
I don't
it's
know
hard
either.
to tell. But I think that's something that comes with the job, and that comes with this thing. I don't know why. Just because you led a movie doesn't mean that you necessarily will be leading every other movie.
Yeah,
that's kind of what any job is.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's more of a.
It's okay to
you're a bit of an extra.
About it.
Yeah.
A bit of a.
Well, I say a bit of a very high paid extra. It's
but you're paid you're paid well, and you just need to show up and do less than you normally would. I don't see the problem here.
No, I
You
look
can check out early and go home and do your stuff and still get paid. It's
exactly.
perfect, I think. I know most of us dream about
I
that,
think
but
it.
okay, you.
Yeah, I don't think she was complaining. I think it's more of a if you are when you think of it in art and in terms of an artist, and a lot of actors feel they are artists. Some projects are more about the art, and some of them are more about the production of media versus the production of art. I get it. See, I mean, sometimes that's why you do art house shit, so you can feed that aspect of your being an actor versus doing the big commercial things to feed your wallet. I get it.
Oh, it's still some like smaller parts, even in like big movies, big ensemble movies. There are smaller parts that stand out,
Yeah.
and you can see when the person is actually working and actually putting something into the character, as opposed to like even some lead in a big movie
Dakota
just
Johnson.
basically delivering words.
Dakota Johnson.
Actually, I have seen her in a few movies. I kind of don't see the problem.
No, she's
Most of the
good. She's
time,
good in some things. Um,
yeah,
and she
and
isn't
if the
she in the
character is written with her in mind,
she's in the
then
Materialist, right? I actually need. I
yes,
think I want to
yes,
see that, but
yeah.
I think I am gonna wait for it to hit
I
streaming.
want to watch that, but I don't know. Looking at Pedro Pascal again, I mean, he's in everything, and there is another movie announced about
You're
like
saying that
about
like it's
him with
bad.
him.
You're the
I
man.
don't know.
The
He's in
man is
everything. There
look.
is like too much of him at
The
this
man
point.
is out there securing the bag and making sure you know who the fuck
That's okay.
he said
I
y'all gonna see
know
me.
who.
Y'all gonna see me. Like he's like I'm
Maybe
hitting
he's trying to watch off that read
my
aftertaste.
man is saying look, this is my moment. I'm gonna be everywhere. Y'all gonna be sick of me. So by the time y'all sick of me, I done made all my money. I can go do Broadway. I
It's
go do
okay. I'll
Broadway.
watch it in like 5 years. That's okay. Just not yet. Maybe not yet.
So let's move on to let's talk about some game trailers. It's superhero game
Mhm.
season apparently is in play. I said before Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Looking forward to that later this year. I wish they'd give me a god dang release date so I can pre-order it. But whatever, that's coming out. We talked about Marvel Tokon Fighting Spirits. But hey, if you like Invincible and you like fighting games, Invincible Versus is here for you. It's another superhero tag fighter from Skybound Entertainment. They have, I think it's called Quarter Up, is the name of the studio that Skybound has it. That's a subsidiary. It's made up of former developers of the Killer Instinct. I think it's 2013, 2014 Killer Instinct game, and it kind of shows. I didn't play that game, but I've seen it in action. This does look a little bit like it, and it's a tag fighter with all of the Invincible characters that you know and love. So if you've ever wanted to beat the shit out of Nolan with Rexplode, which is not going to happen in the actual comic or the show, but you can do it in this one. It's a very early version of the game. It's supposed to come out next year. Looks bloody, looks violent, could be fun. I don't know. You watch the trailer. I know you're not a fighting game player, but how did you feel about this trailer?
Uh, it was interesting, but I don't think that I'm gonna be playing that. First of all, because I never wanted to beat up anyone, and second, well, in that particular from that particular list of characters, and second of all, it felt. I know it's like early footage, but it felt a little bit mm, weird. The visuals felt a little bit weird for me, for my personal visual taste. So maybe not. But it looks like for fans of the genre, it definitely will be, and for fans of the comics and the show, that would definitely be something to buy and to play with their friends. Also,
Hmm.
I think that it's I'm not sure if it's like for console or for PC or for both. But it feels like something that would be better played on a controller. And I'm a PC player. I don't play on the controller. I don't know how to use it. I can just randomly bash different
it's
buttons and hope for
it's
something to happen.
definitely no, you have to. I play. I have a fight stick. I made my own. Was it leverless fight controller? Actually, this is it right here. Look at that. I made it out of a Pathfinder
Oh,
box because it's dope. But yeah, so and then yeah, you can play with the controller. This is going to be Xbox and PC only. Which it hey, Xbox needs some love because that Marvel one is PlayStation and PC only. So yeah, I mean I could see it if I wouldn't play this on a keyboard at all. Like, I've tried playing fighting game on a keyboard, not
I
fun.
would play it on a keyboard, but I will lose a lot.
Yeah.
Which is not new.
So that looks interesting. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I'm probably gonna play that. I'm a fighting game. I collect them even on bad, so I'll probably play that. We also got another trailer for I think Marvel Mystic Mayhem, which is I think is it NetEase? I want to say NetEase is making this one.
Yeah, it's NetEase.
So yeah, it's another one
It's
of
I
those.
think it's the same developer as Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
This is a mobile game, so break out your phones. And it's probably going to be filled with microtransactions, but it's going to be free to play. It's a turn-based tactical.
Oh,
I think it's a
free to play.
turn-based
Yeah.
team
Oh,
strategy game or something like that.
T.
Tactic, something like that. You choose a team of
I
three.
think it's like a just fighting, turn-based
Yeah,
fighting, which
something
is
like that.
they had. I think that Marvel had another one, Future Fight. I think was like
Hmm.
that.
So probably more of
And
that
they
stuff.
have Strike Force and some other game. I keep forgetting. I always forget one of the three.
That basically these are games I don't play. Because it's on the phone.
Yeah,
It's on the
because
phone. Two, it's a tactical whatever thing, and I don't really gel with those. Uh,
and there's a lot of microtransactions. You have to buy everything, and I'm saying it as a person who wants to buy like every new costume in Marvel Rivals.
yeah,
They don't force me to do it, so I'm happy to do it. But these games do force you to do it, so it's likely gonna be like pay to play,
right.
and definitely pay to win. Uh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I would like to see if there is a good story in this game because sometimes this even mobile games they do have interesting stories, but I don't know if that's gonna be something
right.
I'm gonna play. Maybe I just watch it on YouTube or something.
I think I'm going to play this, but only for one reason. One reason only. Again, I don't really play mobile games, and I don't really gel with this genre of game. It's got Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. You had me as soon as I saw the red dinosaur. I was like, god dang it, I gotta play this now. God, I'm gonna be horrible at it. But they let me play Lunella Lafayette. Like y'all don't even understand. I've talked about it before. I love that character, and so I gotta play this.
Have you played Midnight Suns?
I haven't, but I do have it. I need to.
That is a great game, and it is also like the fighting mechanics are also turn based, and it's a great game, and it's a great way to combine the story
Mhm.
and the narrative and this battle mechanics. So it's really
So
cool.
yeah, I actually
One
need
of
to
my
try that.
favorite Marvel games.
I
Yeah.
do need to try it. So that's all interesting. So I mean, we'll check these out, or at least let you guys know how we feel about them. But this, I mean, the closed beta for this hadn't even started yet, and then more than likely this is maybe 8 9 months away. We'll see. So
Probably next year.
let's talk. Let's see if we can briefly talk about popcorn buckets. It is all the rage. Again, I blame Dune and its oddly sexual sandworm bucket.
It was not, but okay.
It's I'm saying oddly in the sense that the internet can't help but be weird, and so that was a thing. But was it 2 years or was it last year or the year before last where this
Oh,
was a
it
thing?
was.
I feel
I
like it
think it
was
was the second one, no?
yeah, but the whole sandworm bucket was such a thing, and then you know, just to make sure that they got in on it and also make fun of the trend, the Deadpool and Wolverine popcorn buckets were fucking genius. I look, I thought the Wolverine one was hilarious and genius, and the marketing for it was great. So, and now everyone's like, I need a popcorn bucket for my thing, right? And some of them are cool and some of them are okay, whatever. Uh, so we have obviously we talked about the Fantastic Four one, the Galactus, the big Galactus head with LED, and it's fucking $80, and I'm like, but I want it though. Um, and I forget the other fantastic, like the other ones for Fantastic Four, they were all right, but that one was really cool, and
The Herbie.
the Herbie one is dope. So now we got Superman too.
They didn't do the Richard's trash bin, but okay.
Yeah, you have to 3D print your own, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I'll have to get on that.
So we have the Superman ones rolled out also. Now I think I mentioned the one where it's a popcorn machine and it has Superman lasering the popcorn machine to like cook the popcorn, which is I mean interesting, but I didn't love it. But they
It
look
was a popcorn maker. No, that would be cool.
they yeah it would have been cool if it was an actual popcorn maker. But they have another one, and you'll probably you might have to look this up. I can't show it to you, but they have one where it's a Daily Planet newspaper receptacle, and you open it up, and there's the popcorn in it. There's I think a drink cup that's like the Fortress of Solitude. There's a drink cup with like a little minifigure, but the ones that really got me, the one, and I'm just like, I gotta figure out because it's not AMC. AMC's not doing these ones. Cinemark and Regal are making these, which I don't know the equip because I know Cinemark and Regal are also in Europe. So, but they just might have a different
Not
name.
here now.
Well, not that but I know they own like or co-owners or something of other places in Europe. But so you might see these. What they both have a crypto popcorn bucket, and one of them, well, both of them have like a little mini, like one of them looks like sort of a Funko Pop, like little small cute version of it, and the other one has crypto actually holding like a Superman popcorn bucket. It's so cool looking. Like I really want those. And I'm trying to think. Another one I think Regal has a dog bowl, like a Superman crypto dog bowl for your popcorn too. So they're really going all out. Like and I get it. Like Superman is a huge merchandising opportunity. Warner Brothers Discovery, they are not going to sleep on selling you as much Superman shit as they can. Like seriously, they're not going to sleep on it. I think they're even selling like crypto plushies and all sorts of stuff like that. And of course, they're pushing the Funko Pops. Everyone's pushing the Funko Pops. Look, they're not going to be, these are not cheap bits of swag, but I love the fact that they are leaning into, getting, not, if you're going to be there for the event anyway, you may as well get the swag too. It's like going to Disneyland. If you go to Disneyland and you just go and ride rides and eat food and leave and don't get the ears, you don't get the Mickey Mouse ears, or you don't get something like that. What did you go to Disney World for? What'd you go for? It's a very expensive. You may get the whole experience. Get the swag. I mean, I love these. How are you feeling? Are you going? I mean, I don't think you are going to be able to get these at the theater, from what I can tell. But
yeah, probably. But of course, naturally, I think that it's a great idea. It's a great idea to release stuff that corresponds to movie really premieres, and all the statues, all the everything just just sell it everywhere, and I'll buy all of it. Because I've seen that Iron Studios, one of my favorite manufacturers of collectible statues, mm, they released, like, they announced a Fantastic Four movie statues, and those are amazing. I would definitely buy them if they were here available. But it's cool that every time there is a movie coming out about some character, even like lesser known character, or the character that's been forgotten for a while because another company owns the rights to the movie. Every time a lot of new stuff shows up in stores, and I'm all for it.
Yeah. I I think it just adds to the whole experience. And that's like
Yeah,
the movie,
experience,
yeah.
and like in general, it's good for the promotion because people would buy it.
The movie going
That's
experience
awesome.
needs, like, it's already an event anyway. People are just coming out just for event movies. I think that this is just like, and also it's good for the theaters. I know people like to shit on the theaters for how expensive movie tickets are. I keep having to remind people the cost of running a movie theater are high as hell. They don't actually make as much money. Y'all think that they're making money hand over fist? That is not true. It isn't. They need you to go buy that overpriced popcorn and drinks and shit like that. And so giving you a bit more, like, it's already kind of expensive to buy a large popcorn and drink anyway. May as well just pay a little bit. Like, when I bought my Thunderbolts popcorn tin, it was $16, and it included the popcorn. Right now, $16, you might be like, wow, that's, why would you pay so much? The actual, when you pay for regular popcorn, it's something like $8 or $9 anyway for a large popcorn. So pay a little bit more and you get a collectible. Why not? Right? And people love Superman. I think most people wouldn't be mad about having a Superman collectible just hanging around the house because people love Superman. So
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense to me. I just
Besides, it's nice to have something to remember the premiere by, because
exactly.
I have three popcorn buckets. The like regular tin popcorn buckets, but from Civil War, from I think is either Infinity War or Endgame. I think it's Infinity War, and from Deadpool and Wolverine, which
Hmm.
is the last one I got here. Uh, but the first two, like Civil War, all the way from Civil War, and it
Yeah,
was a while ago at this point, and it's nice to like look at it and remember how you showed up at the movie theater, how you bought it. It's great.
exactly. And how you sat. Well, I mean, if I'm able to get the the Galactus one, I'm just gonna have this big ass fucking bucket sitting on my lap for like
Oh
two
hell
and a
yeah!
half hours. But I love this. I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to, like, whatever the Jurassic World one is. So y'all keep doing this. This
Oh,
is this is this is a good
I don't
trend.
know if there isn't Jurassic World coming out before
It's between
the other
between
two.
Superman and it's between
Oh,
Superman
yeah.
and Fantastic
Hmm.
Four. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know if I
I
get
took
that
a
one.
vacation to cover all those movies, actually.
Yeah, it's like I'm taking the entire, yeah, I'm taking the whole
Like,
month off.
I know that some people take a vacation and go like on a trip or something, or like go see their family. Whatever. No, I took a vacation to go see the movies.
Nice. Makes
I don't
sense.
regret anything.
Let's see. Moving on to, this is going to be a bit of a long discussion because there was an Entertainment Weekly article about Superman, talking to James Gunn and the cast of Superman, which was good. By the way, I encourage y'all to go read this article. If you like it, they're not giving away anything about the movie really. It's just more context to kind of get you hyped up for the movie. Um, and also I think is very revealing because I think it's instructive to know the mindset of the people that are making these things. That's going to tell you a little bit about the art that you're about to consume. And James Gunn, I've gone on the record. I stand that dude. I love everything. I've not disliked anything he's made so far. his superhero output is high quality, high level. He's smart. He understands what he's doing. He understands his character, and as an architect of the DCU, you couldn't ask for too much better. So I like to hear what he has to say about what his thinking is about making Superman, but also to hear what David Corenswet and Nicholas Hoult and Rachel Brosnahan and so forth think about their characters and how they're approaching it. So just for that, it's a good article to read. But we got to talk about the little tidbits that came out and what they mean for the things we are going to be getting. One, Wonder Woman. We are getting a Wonder Woman movie. This should be a no shit revelation, right? Oh, they're gonna the big three. One of the big three is gonna get a movie. Surprise! But notice that it wasn't one of the announcements for when they first talked about the slate of things that they are working on. We heard about a what was it, the Themyscira or whatever show that is apparently in development hell right now, but we didn't hear about Wonder Woman. So now it's been saying the script is being actively worked on for the Wonder Woman movie. Yay! What say you?
Yay.
Gal Gadot.
But if you're gonna announce it, don't mistakenly use the wrong picture of the existing movie, because people would assume that they cast the same actress.
Yeah, which is silly, but
most definitely did not.
It's just because she's the most popular rendition of the character.
Is it?
Well, I mean, yeah, because the only other Wonder Woman you ever got was a TV show, which was amazing, by the way. Linda Carter that's a good show, especially for the time. But yeah, I
don't use a logo, use anything. Just
I saw someone was like, they'll never do it because they're cowards, but they put May Kalamaui as they're like, this is my Wonder Woman. I was like, you know what? That's a good one.
I don't know who that is.
She played. She was in Moon Knight. She was.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she was, when she premiered as the Red Scarab, which, by the way, one of my favorite moments in the MCU ever, like at all. One of my favorite when she had the powers and everything. Oh, so good. But I loved her in that. I thought, and if I have to say, a bit underused in that show. I think she could have been in it more. I'd have been happy. So,
I think that that was planned for season 2, which is where the hell it is.
Yeah, we're never getting it. But first of all, I thought
I disagree with that.
I think she was good just as not as a superhero character, just as a supporting character to the character Mark Spector, but also once she became a superhero, kicked ass, and I thought she looked great. And if that's the Wonder Woman, if they would be, have the courage to actually cast her, you know why they wouldn't cast her, right? Because she is of Palestinian descent, and we know what's going on. But first of all, it would be a big fuck you to Gal Gadot, but also it would be cool. I think she would be fine. I think she looks. She
also can act, so
yeah. She can act. She physically does it, and her skin tone and everything would make sense for someone that is from the Mediterranean. Cool. So they said Wonder Woman movie. Which I love.
Yeah, that's a great idea, by the way. Now I can stop thinking about it. Besides, she's probably not busy doing Moon Knight, so
again, make it happen. James Gunn, don't be a coward. Make it happen. Also, we learned that the Justice Gang is a thing. Justice Gang, what's that? You say?
That's like a society or a crew.
It's not it would be cool. I thought they might be a part of the Justice Society. This is Guy Gardner, Hawk Girl, and Mr. Terrific. That's what the name of their little crew is. And apparently they are backed by. So they're corporate. They're like corporate superheroes backed by Maxwell Lord. Of course, we are going to see Maxwell Lord and two of them in Peacemaker after Superman comes out. But they're called the Justice Gang. And James Gunn says they're good, they're just not saintly. And we got there's a they had a final trailer for this, which I did not watch. I I don't
Good.
watch. I don't look after that other trailer. This is my generally speaking. I just need to see that first official trailer, and I will watch no more trailers after that. I don't want to see any more
That's
of
what
this
I
movie.
say every time, and I agree with that because that's what I say.
I don't want to see any more of the movie
We
until
don't
I see
need
it.
we don't need too
Yeah,
many trailers, too many TV spots. Actually, if you can, just avoid them. It's much better when you go and see everything for the first time. You don't need everything to be revealed before you go to
yeah.
the theater. Just take a chance, go to the theater. I generally like I go see all of the Marvel movies, of course, and some other movies, and I haven't seen a terrible movie in a movie theater in a long time.
Hmm. I
And
think
I don't watch trailers. So.
yeah. Well, I think the trailers are not for us. We're sold. We were sold before we saw the first trailer. So they aren't for us. They're for other people who are just like normies. They don't know if they're going to actually get out to the theater to go see these things. They have to be sold a lot harder. And so that's why I
Maybe for
get that.
them, they don't need popcorn buckets. Maybe for them, they need like a tax break or something.
I think these people,
Buy a
normies.
ticket to the movies and get a free day, like a day of work.
Yeah,
That would work.
that's not a
Everybody would buy
that's
tickets.
that's never that'll never fly in America. They don't want us to have time off to do anything except maybe sleep. So I look again. I didn't watch the trailer, but I did see that somebody clipped the fact that Guy Gardner was, throwing his literally flipping people off while he's flipping cars and shit. It's look, find this interesting. This is an interesting take on what would be the Justice Society, which I do. I am actually quite a fan of the Justice Society. I haven't read a ton of it, but I really like the Justice Society, so I'm interested to see what this is like. Um, you had revealed that in this new DC universe, that actually there have been metahumans for 300 years. People have been aware of it, publicly aware of it for 300 years, which obviously means there have been metahumans for centuries before that. But for the last 300 years, there have at least been a few that people knew about, which I think is an interesting take on the DC universe. Because usually even in the comics, they approached it like Superman's the first, and then after that, it's just an explosion from that, right? Or in the in the MCU, obviously Iron Man is the first, right? And then they go from that. Now, obviously, they go back and retcon and be like, well, actually, there was Ant-Man and Wasp existed before,
Captain America,
and
of course.
Captain America is the first, so and so forth. But 300 years is a lot. That's a lot of time to have. Probably Hawk Girl has been reincarnated several times during that time. So as Hawkman has been reincarnated several times. Obviously, people like Teth Adam or a previous version of Shazam probably was around. The various gods or godlike beings, or that represent themselves as gods, exist. So the whole gods and monsters theme of the first phase of the DCU makes a lot of sense now. And also, we know for sure that the Bride and Frankenstein's monster have been going around for centuries. I find that's like that little bit of they've been around for 300 years or publicly known 300 years is a small little bomb that actually has a lot of implications that makes me think, like, my mind races. I mean, am I off base here? Like, how did that make you think?
I think that it makes perfect sense. That was actually what I assumed when I saw that all the Justice Gang, I guess, showing up in the trailer. I assumed that they've been around, that people know what's what. And that makes a lot of sense because you don't want to do all the introductions and all the origin stories over and over again. Everything's been done. especially to the characters who got their own movies. So in this case, you better go with like them being known already.
Yeah,
Really makes sense.
it's a so the challenge here is to present a lived-in world where things are they just are. You know, the
Yeah,
superheroes
and it
just
wouldn't
are.
raise any questions for any cameos and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
but even more to the point, and this is the MCU has this problem in the sense, like this is literally the reason why they're having a problem with mutants. Secret War's whole point is going to be to remake the MCU so that mutants just are, right. But in this world, in the DCU, and it's avoiding that problem because they just are. Like anytime they present anything new, if they throw in vampires, if they throw in, obviously we're going to have a kaiju in this. Anything that they want to throw in here, it's like, yeah, this look,
It's
we've had
easier for
ghosts.
them
Yeah.
because they started building it like literally a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and the MCU was built almost 20 years
And
ago.
it was built without I think it was built with a plan, but not a plan to make the entire comics into the.
Yeah, and
So,
they didn't know what was
yeah.
going to happen with it, and they didn't have the roadmap as to how to do it and what to avoid. They literally were the first to try and fail and succeed in everything.
Yeah.
So it's way easier to do this now, and it's way easier to avoid that mistake by doing this thing that where all the metahumans have been around for a while.
Yeah, I love it. I love how free they are going to be to like tell their stories without having to, really,
Retcon anything.
yeah, retcon or just like try to. They are much freer, I think. We also this is found this interesting only because of where I live. This is this matters. So Eddie Gathegi says that his Mr. Terrific. He said straight up he's an atheist, and also that he's going to be in other DC projects. The reason why I bring up the atheist part is because I think that there's an assumption about various characters that they're religious for, and then some of them are straight up. Nightcrawler straight up is religious as hell.
Daredevil.
Yeah,
On and
Daredevil's
off.
religious as hell. Even Superman
Well,
to some
on and
extent.
off.
Yeah, even Superman to some extent because of how he was raised, so forth. But I don't think that anyone's ever said straight up, "Oh no, this guy he doesn't." He said literally doesn't believe in God, but he believes in justice. And after his wife dies, he finds his strength in learning and knowledge and everything, and also wanting to just basically do right. I think that that's interesting. I think that's interesting because I think that there's a lot of wanting to show people of faith, but not about people who are not faith based, but they're still going about being superheroes. So I personally think that's an interesting.
It's kind of interesting, yeah, because first of all, an atheist, so that means that he doesn't believe in any gods, and some of them do exist in yeah. So,
which
I don't know. That gives me Reed Richards vibes.
I think that in a world like this, I think an atheist in this world actually makes more sense. And people might be like, "How's it in a world where there are gods? Would that make more?" Well, in the MCU, it makes sense too. Thor shows up, and you're like, "Oh, he's a god." Nobody's There's no Church of Thor in the MCU. No one's worshiping him.
Why?
There's no. Well, and you know why? Because he's not a fucking god. He is an alien that's very, very powerful and lives a long time. He's not a god. They may calling yourself a god doesn't mean that you're like the Celestials are
but
more.
Don't you
like
think
gods.
that when after he showed up, there would be like a cult somewhere, at least a cult?
Yeah. There.
And you have a Red Skull cult. You have like the other kind of cults. There should be a cult of Thor.
No one. I mean, there probably is. What I'm getting at is in like a world of gods and monsters, the gods turn out to just be really advanced aliens, right? So Celestials in the MCU are not gods. They're just really, really powerful aliens, right? They've been around since the beginning of the universe, but they're not God. They're not the one above all, right? They're not the living tribunal. They're not that. They're just really, really, really powerful.
They're not Doom when he was God.
Yeah. So I look at it as like, they could be like, well, how, Mr. Horrific, how can you be an atheist when you literally see gods? He doesn't think that they're gods. He thinks that they're just really strong aliens. Like, so I mean, I get it. I just think it's an interesting bit of representation that people don't really think that needs to be represented. I think that all aspects of humanity need to be on display. Like every aspect of humanity can be a superhero. So, and yes, obviously he's going to turn up in other DCU projects. He wouldn't say what, but I'm looking forward to it. Finally, last bit, James Gunn said he's in the midst of writing a sequel to Superman, but he said it's not really a Superman sequel. The fuck does that mean? What does that even mean? He's writing a movie that can be seen as a sequel to Superman, but it's not
probably like a Justice League.
And he did say we're working towards it, but they're not there yet. The Justice League isn't there yet. I love that. I love to hear that. One of the biggest criticisms I have about the DCEU, the biggest, is the rush to fucking Justice League. I hated that so much that they rushed to put Justice League out because of Avengers. Avengers being $1 billion movie made DC be like, let's quit. Let's get our Avengers. No, bitch. Lead up to it. It's what. Anyway.
Either that or just drop it as it like, hello, it's always been here.
Yeah.
That could have been the answer.
Well, Gunn is like, we're working towards it. They're not there. They don't exist yet. We haven't gotten to it yet, but we're gonna get there. And I love that. I love that they're gonna do. I mean, if there's anything that the MCU did right, it's the leading up to the Avengers. Excuse me. I think that little run of Phase 1, that 5 movie run, and then ending the first phase with Avengers was brilliant. You worked up to it, so I want.
Well, technically, DC did the same thing. They did
a shitty job.
How did it?
Yeah. What did they do? What was it? Man of Steel. Was it Man of Steel? Batman v Superman and Wonder Woman, and then they're like, "Hey, how about?"
Wasn't there like Aquaman too?
No. Catwoman doesn't count.
No. Aquaman.
Aquaman came after.
Yeah.
Aquaman came after. And Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad came after Justice League. So you
had
literally
nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it was, and in fact, Wonder Woman I think came after came after Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman. Then the point is not enough investment to get you to Justice League.
I mean, they weren't good movies. That's the whole problem.
I mean, Wonder Woman was good, but
which one?
The first Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was good.
Oh no, I didn't like that. It was Captain America, but worse.
I will say this.
It was literally Captain America.
I actually like all of the DC. I like the lead. Justice League isn't terrible. I think it's all right for what it is. I just don't think it's
which one.
The first, either version, but like I'll take the first version just because it's shorter. But I don't.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're all they both bad, but at least the first one ends faster, and the second one just keeps going on and on and on. And at some point, you just feel like dying slowly and painfully in slow motion.
All that again, I think that's a great article. Just definitely go check it out and read it if y'all haven't read it.
I haven't read the articles, but I seen the photos, and the photos are great.
I feel like it's giving us a good insight, and not just to the movie that we're about to see, but into these people who are playing these characters we're going to see for at least the next 10 years and possibly longer. So go check that out, you guys. So finally, we're going to do a bit of a nerd discussion. I know we're running a bit long, so we'll try to keep this to a reasonable length. But one part of
Not
that
like Justice League.
As long as we don't do slow motion, we should be fine. One of the things that came out of that Entertainment Weekly article was a bit of a line that I think speaks to where the MCU is now and the state of superhero movies and cinematic universes in general. And that is the idea that you need to do your homework to enjoy these movies, to understand what the hell's going on. And so I wanted to know, is it possible to make a cinematic universe where the movies don't require prior knowledge of the series to enjoy or to just like to understand? Can you, in other words, in the past we've had, like Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. You could pop in, watch an episode, and move on, right? But also if you actually knew what the hell was going on in previous episodes. But these are episodes, basically, that's episodic TV, which is geared towards hop in, hop out. It's all good if you didn't see the previous episodes. But comic books, if we've talked about before, while you can do that, sometimes you can't just hop into the middle of an event tie-in, right? Because you don't know what the fuck's going on. You can't just pop into some of these comics because they're in the middle of a story arc or they're building on something else. And the cinematic universes, like if you watch the first Avengers, you'll get what's going on, but I don't know if you'll understand. I don't know if you'll understand some of the stuff, but you can pop in there, watch Avengers. If you watch Endgame for the first time, and I remember seeing people that were like, oh, this is a big deal, and like everyone's talking about this movie, I guess I'll go see it. And we're lost. And I was like, yeah, you're lost. You didn't watch the 12 fucking, however many fucking 18 movies that came before this. That literally is all building up to this. It's like you read the last chapter of a book and we're like, what's happening here? I don't know. Read the rest of the book. I'm not trying to talk shit about people, but this idea that you're telling a long running story, like a soap opera, you tune into episode 573 of General Hospital and some shit's happening and you're just like, I'm lost. Yeah, you're lost. You came in.
Yeah. Kind of lost, but also isn't it the same shit that's been going on since like episode 257?
Yeah. But so James Gunn says in that article, he says, I'm really trying to be careful that anybody can dip in and see the story that is up next and not feel like they're missing information. I get that. How? Just tell me how. Tell me how you let someone read the 15th book in the series. Like you think of any long-running book series, Alex Cross, like the Alex Cross series. Yes, you can dip into it, but if he references some shit that happened in book 7 and you're just like, I'm confused, that's for a reason. This is a serialized bit of storytelling, and if you miss an episode, you're probably not going to understand some stuff. It is what it is. Anyway, okay, I've said a lot. What do you think?
First of all, yes, you can absolutely build a comic book movie universe where people don't need to do homework. Remember X-Men? The story was so messed up, they didn't even know what was going on in the previous movies. Like the writers of the new movies didn't know what's going on in the movies before them. So yeah, people tuned in and watched and were like, fine, I see that. Movies, when they rarely referenced each other, and when they did, it was all messed up and wrong. And so, would it be good? I don't hate those movies. Like I like most of them, and I enjoy rewatching them. But it's not a wholesome universe. It falls apart. And I think that while James Gunn is right now working with something that is new, it's easier for him to at least fantasize about that. But imagine the DCU when it will be like 15 movies in. And he has a lot of shows coming out, and the shows are, you don't necessarily have to watch them, but probably like for a completionist, eventually there will be some writer who will reference them and would want to bring some characters from those shows or something like that. And then people would have to go back and do the homework. It's inevitable with something that big. That's something that we don't necessarily need to do with comics because there is a status quo, and if you know the status quo, you always have the reference. You can go check like what exactly they're referencing. They used to actually describe it like in the early comics in the 60s. They used to describe what they're referencing, and in the 80s I think they did too. Right now you just can Google it. You can get your information. You don't need to be lost. You can buy like encyclopedias and stuff like that. With comics, it's different. But with the movies, yeah, you would have to do the homework. I don't think that it's something that you can avoid.
Right.
Especially if you want to put out a lot of content for a lot of different people. Obviously,
they're all connected too. That's you mentioned the shows. He's talking about video games. Like, yeah, there's a lot of information. This is a big lived-in universe with a lot of people and a lot of events happening. The way the comics, as you mentioned, got around it, they would just have a bit of exposition. Like, remember when this shit happened in this episode, or they would say, "Hey, see X-Men number 57," right? The editor would be like, "It literally see X-Men as seen in Alpha Flight, as seen, yeah, as seen in Alpha Flight number whatever." Whenever there's a reference to this, which works for comics because the comic readers are going to go back and they'll be like, all right, cool, I'll go find out what that was, right? It doesn't work for the movies. You got 2 hours, maybe 3, at the most 3, but 2 hours to tell the whole story that you're trying to tell. And also we are, as film goers, critical of exposition dumps. We are. I get on movies about this shit all the time when y'all just literally have a character tell the audience what's going on so you don't have to go back and show anything. But remember, movies are show, don't tell, right? TV shows, show, don't tell. So in a medium where exposition is frowned upon, at least blatant exposition, like at the beginning of any particular movie or show where you just have a voiceover telling you what's going on so you can get into it, we're opposed to that. How do you get around?
I don't know. I don't mind that. I don't know who's opposed to that because sometimes it's something that you need to do, and like to set up the story, it works fine. I don't know. I didn't hate it in like Black Panther. I didn't hate it in Sinners.
Yeah, if you can, and the Sinner's exposition literally was framing the movie. So you'll just at the start, and I find it interesting. Ryan Coogler does like to start off with exposition. Even Wakanda Forever started off with exposition, even if it wasn't someone literally voicing over what's happening. That whole intro where they're framing what the movie is, with Shuri failing to save her brother, was exposition, right? So there are ways to do exposition. What I don't want is that one character who's telling everyone in the scene what's happening, even though everyone in the scene should already
actually James Gunn did it in Guardians of the Galaxy, the first part. I remember that like a few times. I think Gamora was literally saying just what was happening.
Yeah,
and I was like, why everybody sees that?
We already know, like the character who's telling all of the other characters what's going on, even though all those characters are experiencing it and know what's going on already, is really just talking to the audience. Now, if they can, in a clever way, figure out how to do the exposition and without being annoying or obvious, or just being clever about it, cool. But we're gonna have to start having that. If you really literally want a cinematic universe where someone can watch, movie 15, and that movie references other movies, you're gonna have to figure out how to do exposition in a way that's not obvious and annoying or weird. um, so yeah, you can make a cinematic universe that doesn't require homework. I just think that you take away
We've
some.
had that
Yeah,
cinematic universe,
yeah,
like I said, it was X-Men.
yeah. Well, I think you take away some of the kind of the magic of a shared universe by basically telling everybody you don't really have to see any of these other things, and you don't.
Or or you just stick to like the story you're telling, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't reference anything else. But that would mean that the Justice League movie that he's working towards, they are working towards the DC. It's not gonna happen
Right,
because you can't not reference the previous events, and they can't just come together and like
right.
do stuff.
I think if you look, maybe we should look at it in terms of like trilogies. Most people have the attention span and the memory to follow a trilogy, right? Most people will like the
You're
Spider-Man trilogies.
overestimating people.
Well, but generally speaking, people can keep track of a trilogy. So if you look at it as like do it in like three movie chunks, like sections, then it's okay to like have a little bit because you're like, oh well, watch the previous whatever, right? Yeah, obviously people like, well, I didn't see Spider-Man 2, so well, am I going to be able to watch Spider-Man 3? Yeah, probably, but like maybe you should just go watch it. But making someone have to watch 7 movies in order to understand something, probably not the way to go, unless it's a big event movie. Because that we saw that with Infinity War and Endgame. The event movies are, yeah, you need to like there's no fucking excuse. This is a big culminating event. Go do your homework. Sorry, we're not going to hold your hand. We don't have time. This movie is a culmination. We are telling this story. We don't have time to tell you every fucking thing about every character that's in this. We've already did that. There are other movies. Go watch them. So, it's a tightrope to walk. I think James Gunn is the guy to do it. Um, it takes a lot of forethought.
He's not gonna succeed with that particular task, but he will realize it like years later. Right now, he can do it, yes, but it's because of the
It's
small
early
scale.
days. Yeah, it's early days. It's not
Yeah,
you're not 20
it's
years in.
Marvel didn't force you to watch like first Captain America to find out that he was frozen
Mm-hmm.
because
That's the other thing. I think the only way that you really truly can have a cinematic universe where there isn't homework required is to have a core set of 5 or 6 characters that who you familiarize the entire audience with them in the early days, and then tell stories with them later on, so you don't have to keep going back. Because the problem MCU is having is now they're introducing new. People feel like it's homework, and I'm like, yes, they're introducing new characters for you, so that they can eventually be
because the
in other
old
things.
ones like either have the story ended or like
Yeah,
something else or grow old.
yeah, they're introducing new characters for a reason. But like y'all didn't complain about having to do homework when you watched the origins and the first, movies with Captain America and Iron Man and stuff. But you're complaining about having to watch Miss Marvel and Ironheart and or what what I'm saying? Like y'all, if this MCU thing is going to continue, or if the DCU is going to continue, they have to bring in new characters, and you can't fucking complain about having to see the first stories with these characters in it. Like you don't. There's no homework required for Miss Marvel. No homework required for Ironheart. There's no homework required for Moon Knight, Shang-Chi. They don't have any explicit connections. Just go fucking watch the movies. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, y'all, I get it. The normies are easily distracted. So, I think that's all of the things we got to talk about today. We made it in a somewhat reasonable time. Yay! But probably we missed something. I'm sure we did. Or, y'all want to discuss what we're talking about, say something nice, troll us, whatever the case may be. You know what you got to do.
Just don't be coming talking about like how Reed Richards is the coolest character.
They are going to say that.
I don't have time for that nonsense.
If you have anything except Reed standing, you can know what to do. Get down to the comment section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up. supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, blurred_force1 on Instagram and Threads, super_not_funny show on TikTok. And while you're doing that, do me a favor, get down there, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. All that good stuff helps to grow this channel, helps more people to see this podcast and all of the other things that we do on Blurred Force 1. And as usual, I hate doing the show by myself. I love doing the show, however, with my good friend Polly. So Polly, where can they reach you on social media?
_mixed on Threads, on Instagram, and on Tumblr, where I write a lot about how much I hate Reed.
I was gonna say definitely go check out.
Do that everywhere.
Definitely go check out the Tumblr, because I think y'all might be interested. Like the Dr. Doom. Are you secretly a Doom bot? Because I feel like.
I mean, if I were, I don't think that my programming would actually allow me to think that I'm a Doom. I don't know. I could be.
I feel like,
I don't have any problems with CAPTCHA, so
yeah.
Maybe not.
Are you a robot?
Are you a robot?
I'm just saying one of those where it says it's saying hit the part that has a Reed Richards in it. And oh my god. Okay. Well, yeah, you guys go show love to Polly on all of her socials. So thanks for joining us, episode 184 of the Supercast. This has been fun. We're gonna come back next week. We're so close to Ironheart, and the superhero summer continues very strong. So we're gonna talk about all of the news that comes out next week. So until then, I've been Mo, your comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by my good friend Polly, and we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.